Yeah, I don't have any problems with this episode. I'm surprised that it's widely hated. I wonder why.
Yeah, it was because it's Troy and her mom.
Yeah.
I listened to, and I'll bring this up when we start, but it's like my one thing I thought that Greatest Generation might say about it is that what's his name? Poor Brian Bonsall, who plays Alexander, has to black up his upper torso for this.
Oh. Yeah, I can see how that could be problematic for some folks.
Yeah.
Well,
be a little blonde child.
Don't talk about General Martog or Gowron. Those were white dudes too.
I know.
In fact, I kind of wonder.
And so were the Duras sisters.
I kind of wonder how artists feel doing blackface when it comes to being a different alien race.
Yeah, it's just one of those. We just don't ever bring up the Klingons as being a blackface thing.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's like right on that edge.
Yeah,
I think it really kind of pulls into the intention of what they're doing with the makeup and how it's being delivered and what messages they're portraying. So off the bat, I don't think it's a big issue.
Yeah. But, and my first Klingon is Worf, who is black.
Yeah, I thought he was Klingon.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Damn, I got it wrong this whole time.
Okay, yeah, my microphone just decided to unplug. The Cardassians built in
quite a bit of,
I want to say 3 or 4 different races, and it was never really pointed out, but you could tell because they'd have these guys standing next to each other. Mm-hmm. They would have various complexions and body physiques and facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Next Generation's First Generation. I'm your host, Sascha Shouties, and with me we have our co-host, Patrick Delmore.
Hey, everybody.
Patrick, I want you to remember these phrases. The higher, the fewer. Yes, that's right. If you're keyed in, you know this is a Loxana Troy episode, a Alexander episode, a Worf episode, a Deanna Troy episode, and everybody who has that sideshow funny social situation going on that makes the show just a little bit cringeworthy. It's happening all right here, all in one time. Maybe for fun, maybe to just get it out of the way, who knows? But we are going to review it nevertheless. So what we are asking you to do, you can either listen along and do whatever you want, or you can queue up your favorite viewing device. We are watching this on Netflix, season 5, episode 20. So this is the remastered version. And we're going to give you the countdown to sync up your devices. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and play.
And action. We got to blow up an asteroid that's going to hit a planet. Kaboom.
Oh, they missed the spot.
Fragments are too big. This was lower decks. We could go outside with laser bats and break them up.
Yeah, pretty much. I learned about breaking up of asteroids in Star Trek. When there was a period in the late 90s, early 2000s when people are afraid of getting the planet getting hit by an asteroid, like the movie Deep Impact, I think came out in 99 or 2000, right around there. And I learned that if you shoot an asteroid, it may not necessarily mean it's going to vaporize and all your problems will be solved. Fortunately for us, the Enterprise has the magic deflector beam where you can get it to do anything you want if you shoot the beam at it. So there it goes. Here's our deflector beam. It creates a nuclear explosion in the atmosphere of this planet, but everything seems to be okay. And they're just going to warp out of there without talking to anybody on the planet about what happened.
Yeah.
What's that? Context? No, we're good. They're pre-warp, so we don't need to talk to them. They just need to record the light show. Oh, look, some glitters, space glitters getting on the Enterprise.
Oh dear, I love that close up of the model like that.
Glitter is the herpes of the craft world, people.
Yikes.
You cannot get rid of it. Well, here we go. This is episode 20, season 5. Oh my goodness, the original air date was on 4/20.
Hey, and it's a real slimy episode. It's a little bit stonery, but it's a super slimy episode.
Oh, yes. But let's see, we got a lot of people in here. We even have a guy named Mr. Home makes an appearance.
Yeah, he's having fun in this one.
Oh, he always does. My favorite Mr. Home scene is, there's two of them actually. One where he has to hit a gong and drink, and he just starts getting drunk and hitting the gong, and everybody's okay with it. And then Deanna rushes out and smashes his gong, and sad Christmas. The other one is where Mr. Hone picks up the luggage from Captain Picard, like it's no big deal, after Captain practically throws out his shoulder and back.
Yes.
So that's pretty good. Well, let's see here. If I remember correctly, where did we leave off with Alexander? What heart-touching episode?
It was the episode where Worf got hurt and decided to live for Alexander.
That's right. So
it hasn't been a great life so far, because Alexander won't pick up his clothes.
Oh man, I gave up ritual suicide for a messy apartment. How dare you, Alexander? Here we go this is a really nice office, but I'm never really sure where it is, other than it's in the interior of the ship, because there are clearly no windows. So there's some hostility in the room. Thank you, Captain Obvious, Deanna. There are two Klingons arguing in a room. Of course, there's going to be hostility. That's
and now why it is that she doesn't. I mean, I have like a overarching plot of the show theory why she doesn't offer to write the contract for them and sends them home to write it by themselves. I think she thinks that by talking about a contract, that that'll somehow get them to just talk. But she also doesn't want to be the one to write this contract because, again, she's really thinking about dating Worf, and her feelings are going to come into it. This becomes her surrogate. Alexander and Worf become her surrogate family for a very short time.
Well, from a therapeutic standpoint, she is issuing homework to them. Write a contract. Here are the parameters. It would do no one any favors if she wrote the contract, because then the two parties couldn't take any ownership. This is what Troy is making us do versus this is what we've got to figure out.
Well, she'd write it with them.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they each had equal voice. And it's great because her mom is going to like tear this whole contract idea down. And in the one sense, her mom is absolutely right. In the other sense, her mom is like being beyond unprofessional, because it's like, no, she gets to do her job.
Mm-hmm.
Mom can't come in and say, don't do it this way. She is totally undermining Deanna, even though Deanna's not doing a great job at this. But
yeah.
Partially because she kind of needs to have a hands-off approach to the Roshenkos at the moment, because she is dealing with feelings about them.
Oh, that was beautiful how she just wilted as her mom is talking over the comm. Oh, she's like, my mother. I hate having my mother here. What do I do? She looks like she is in shock.
Yep. Majel Barrett looks really good in this episode, though.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever, because they made her look like kind of old and crusty the last time we saw her, which was in an episode about She fell in love with a guy she couldn't have. And now she's really trying to use, the internet dating or the intergalactic dating profile to facilitate a marriage. I love her Gen Z eyeliner here.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Way ahead of the curve.
Woohoo! Well, the show always gets something right. Might get a lot of things wrong.
On Euphoria.
Boy, and Chunky's in too. I don't know if you knew that as a style. So, as in chunky jewelry.
Yeah.
Though it looks like she's wrapped, like someone tried to tie a big bow on her back, like an old fashioned kimono mixed with a birthday present. But the big surprise is she's getting married. What? Have you met this person? No, we've been talking online. Now, to be fair, this is back when the internet was new. What was this? 1992? So the internet was just a glimmer in most people's eyes, and they didn't understand online dating yet. But there was a video dating where you would record a profile of yourself, and you could check these tapes in and out. And I almost kind of got that vibe when Mrs. Troy was saying, oh, well, we've been exchanging profiles on Subspace. So it's like, well, we've been checking out each other's VHS tapes. But little did we know that in the late 90s, with the emergence of online dating, it was originally kind of shamed, like, oh, you're so bad at finding a partner, you have to go online. But now it's mainstream. This is the first place people go, be it through social media or an organized site. So
Alexander and Waxana immediately have a connection, which is great because Worf and Troy are, even though they care about him, have not tried being they're basically saying to him that he's allowed there and he should be grateful, like in the most neutral way. And everything Waxana is saying is true. Like, a child who is trusted will become worthy of trust, and there's nothing that he can do if Worf breaks this contract they're supposed to write between one another. And that's true, and that's why Troy should have sat there and written the contract with them.
Well, the cool thing about Troy is that, and I think this is true with just most grandmothers and people who are generally good with children, is that they almost are dismissive of all adults in the room and they give all their attention to the child. And that's very empowering to children. I remember being talked to that way, and I was immediately gravitated towards those people because, hey, here's somebody who is interested in me as a person. They're not just here to tell me what to do. They're not here to react with me because I'm in the room.
And we haven't seen anybody be like that with Alexander yet. Even his teacher was very hands off with him.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But here's Riker rubbing it in Picard's face that Waxana wants to have a wedding on the ship. And then Picard's like, yeah, you know what? If she wants me to give her away at the wedding, let's do it.
There goes the space glitter. Space glitter. Yeah, well, Picard would love nothing more, like you said, to give her away. The end of the harassment is here. I'll personally take you out.
Playing with his laptop.
Looking down.
Yeah.
They're making eye contact.
I know. Is that an appropriate shirt to wear around children? It's the most appropriate shirt to wear around children.
I don't know. It seems pretty benign.
Yeah. It's like, it's great. It's great that you came to wait for my daughter when she's not in the office when she's supposed to be.
Well, maybe we trust Alexander to wait in the office.
I had a neighbor that would, I had a neighbor that would do this. I really liked. She lived down the street and would pull me into her lap like this when I was little. I was littler
Aw.
than him. I mean, I believe this kid was born in '82, like me. So I was probably size-wise, I was the same size as him when this would go on. But I mean, I was a little guy.
A little teeny weeny.
But I enjoyed that. Obviously we don't encourage adults to do that with kids now.
Well, you'd have to have some
Yeah.
kind of established relationship with the kid and the family.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, I mean, she did, but it was still very much a no. You come here and you're going to be in my lap for a minute.
that's just that really comes from a different generation.
Yeah,
To tell you the truth, where kids were pretty much expected to do whatever the adults told them. So that was always a messed up expectation, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I think we are about to go and break the rules.
Yep.
We are going to have another holodeck experience.
The problem with this is, I mean, they could have tightened it a little bit because they make it seem this is a real place that Waxana knows about.
And she calls upon it, huh?
Yeah. This should be something that's based on Alexander's psyche.
It is kind of cute how she knocked on the bulkhead there to get the computer's attention.
Yes. Well, remember, she and the computer are the same voice, which is great fun. And they play off, and she plays off of herself a bunch in this. So this is kind of Star Trek's version of the Neighborhood of Make Believe.
Whoa! It's the happy guy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Campio, I think, is the name of this character. No, that's the
Wind
name
Dancer.
of the Wind Dancer.
It's just a happy fellow in a bubble.
Not bad. Oh, he got a kiss. That's so great. Yeah. And off he goes. This has got to be one of the more lively children's holodeck program we've seen. The only other children's holodeck program we've seen was the murder people with Batless program. And then after this, we have the floater, or whatever the name of his, Trevis, and all the other characters, and the Voyager, Talaxi, and whatever. Hey, there's a juggler. Look at that.
Says that his the balls are his worlds, and Alexander is really digging this, as you would, because it's kind of similar to the Neighborhood of Make Believe and Mr. Rogers.
This character is, this actor's name is Albie Schlesnick. What a mouthful!
Sounds about right.
He's been on Star Trek a couple of times. He's been on 2 Voyager episodes as random alien 2. Then we have our twins who are arguing.
The arguing friends. I don't think they're supposed to be twins. They're not quite the same size, but they're probably of the same species. And that's something that this guy introduces to Alexander, is some people like to argue. And now here's the proxy for Worf. This is what both Waxana and Alexander kind of see Worf as.
Yes.
It's just this grumbly guy. And he's just saying like a bunch of empty platitudes, which is probably very much how Alexander feels about all of Worf's Klingon-y stuff.
This guy's name is George Ede, E-D-E. Born 1931. Jeez, he was old back then.
Yep. 61.
He's 90 now.
Still alive?
Still alive. My goodness. We should like see. You know, this character's kind of got the feeling of a. This character's kind of got the feeling of an old TOS episode. So we have a fun guest who just dropped in. Eddie's on the line. Are you there, Eddie?
I am. I was just keeping quiet. I've actually been here from the beginning. I snuck in just to see what was going on. How is everyone?
Doing
Oh, we're
good.
doing great. So thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. It's a great episode, so I'm excited
It
to
is.
join you for it.
I don't know why it's so ill-regarded among people other than that Waxana Troy's in it.
I want to know what Worf finds that Alex shouldn't be finding underneath the table there.
Not a lot, because everything's replicated. He was saying that, the clothes just get reprocessed.
Okay, so here's the question. Is it appropriate for Worf and Troy to go hunt Alexander down and call him out on not being present?
Yes,
Why?
because Worf's his dad, and the appointment was with Troy. So it's just like when you go to a friend's house, even if your parents knew that friend, you need to tell mom and dad where you went.
Okay.
You don't get to just go somewhere and not tell people. And the cups are like ice cream cones. And yeah, like I was saying, they painted what's his name? Brian Bonsall, who is a very blonde little boy. They painted his skin look Klingon for the upper half.
All right, nobody touch your nose or scratch your ear or rub your eyes.
Pretty much.
Have you ever been in a mud bath?
No.
How about you, Ed?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yes. Headbutt him, Worf. That's the right thing to do. I am not a merry man. I
Yeah.
could see him in his Shakespearean tunic right about here. Or not Shakespearean, his Robin Hood tunic.
I love Troy cracks up when he pops that bubble.
Oh, yes. And here's our body dancer.
Yep.
Now, when I
Dude,
was a kid, I didn't know this was a suit that they put on, and I'm like, wow, geez, they're getting pretty bold here.
is it a suit?
It's a suit.
Okay. It's quite a tight suit. I thought it was all body paint. It was kind of the body paint episode.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Woof.
I love
Yeah,
that.
doesn't Q call him Woof too?
Wolf or Wolf.
Because he's so easy to provoke.
Yep.
Oh, I wanted to see him do a throwdown in the argument in the mud pool. That would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been fun if with the issues that are going on with the ship, they got stuck there. But we have to introduce this new husband of hers, who is
Yes.
voiced by Mr. Or played by a guy who is more known as being a voice actor, Tony J.
Correct. I want to say he kind of reminds me of the Dr. Evil or whatever his name was in Voyager, that Tom Paris hologram program he had going on that kind of was supposed to be a parody off of Buck Rogers.
Oh yeah, Atomica.
Mhm.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Hey, Nelson is in this episode too. Our favorite background guy that we were talking about in the last episode. So keep your eyes out for Nelson. Oh boy. Okay, I'm trying to find the name of this gentleman you just brought up.
Tony J.
Yeah, Tony J. Here he is. There he is. He does look like Dr. Chaotica.
He was Beauty and the Beast. He's the voice of the Kingpin on the old Spider-Man cartoon.
He was also a voice actor in Star Trek Armada 2, Star Trek Elite Force 2. Those are two very fun video games, by the way. Star Trek's only first-person shooter. These are good-looking apples.
They are. I wonder if they're actual apples that they picked up at a Starbase.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say it right now. I'll touch on this at the end too. There's too much going on in this episode for the plot to absorb. So you've got the Alexander and Worf story, you've got the space glitter, you've got the Troy and Loxana, and you've got this wedding as well.
Yeah, lots of worlds to keep in the air, as the juggler would say. I love when they have to put on the specific suits to get into the core.
The one time Data's in a black turtleneck and he's not evil.
Now, normally, if you wear something like that, you have like a badge on that tells you if you're running out of oxygen or if you're entering an area that's radioactive. But I guess a tricorder will do all of that. Although it's funny that, we have the technology now that would be smaller and more effective than a tricorder. Just like, if it turns this color, get out.
Look at that wig. I think she got that off the holodeck talking to the two arguing friends.
Very probably.
That is Lurch, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Did he talk in that show?
In Addams Family?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that he's got the mouth full of pins.
Was he in the TV show or was he just in the movie, The Addams Family Values? And the other one?
In Addams Family Values and Addams Family, and I believe he also played Lurch in Addams Family Reunion, which had Tim Curry as Gomez. I can't remember who played Morticia in that, but that's one of the weird ones I never saw.
Angela something, I believe.
Okay.
Come on,
they had the same Pugsley too, and that was it.
I wanted to say I'm sorry if I got you in any trouble.
Angela Houston.
Thank you.
Yes.
Driving me nuts.
She was the Morticia in the first two movies, and they did a third direct-to-video movie where it was Tim Curry was Gomez, and it was all different people except for Pugsley and Lurch. So Christina Ricci was gone. I believe Raul Julia was dead at that point, and that's what killed that franchise. And then this new animated Addams Family is actually, the first one was great. Then they made a part 2 that was like, we do not want to make any more of these movies. Please stop asking. Really?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
What? Okay. In 2011, the AV Club gave this episode a C, saying that Alexander is still insanely annoying. What a bird.
He's not annoying if you're 10 when you watch the episode like I was.
Honestly, they didn't really give the character a lot of bandwidth. I mean, they really painted him into a small box. He's either getting yelled at his dad or he's getting loose on the ship.
They figured out his story was, I don't really want to be a Klingon. But, there's something to be said for, I'm a sweet little boy that comforts old women. Like you were saying at the beginning, it's like grandparents like that. And grandchildren, especially young grandchildren, like to have that role.
Yeah.
That's not true for every child, but it's something that I can definitely relate to. Now they don't abandon ship when this starts to happen, which I can't figure out why. Because they're losing life support like crazy, and you would think, like if I'm Captain Picard or Riker, if all this is going on, it's like we need to get everybody that's non-essential personnel off the ship, like right now, and possibly like call in the Starfleet Corps of Engineers and get them to figure out what's going on. Not like risk everybody's life to monkey around with this.
Well, geez, I mean, they kind of got the ship steady after about 30 seconds of tech dialogue, so I guess it's okay now.
I mean, it's a glitter monster that's eating matter.
Ooh, yes.
It honestly doesn't surprise me that glitter would be a serious issue on a starship. Because, I mean, like you said earlier, Sasha, one person is doing glitter, everyone has glitter on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me think of the ectoplasm scene in Ghostbusters 2. It reacts to emotions.
You could have
So true.
Alexander and Worf just yelling insults at it, and you can see it bubble and boil, and then Luxana comes in and just gives it a whole bunch of compliments, and it like turns purple or something. So even though we have a catastrophic failure of services, this does not stop a wedding.
She wants to kiss him, and his buddy's like, "No, ma'am." That guy-
Oh yeah, he's like the protocol guy, right?
Yeah. It's too bad they couldn't get the guy from the Most Toys back to just play his toady, because that's what that guy was great at, Saul Rubenstein.
Mm-hmm. Bride of Chaotica was the name of the program. I'm still fixated on what the name, like that, of the actor of Dr. Chaotica was. Welcome aboard. Thank you for stealing away this woman who cannot stop sexually harassing me while his daughter is standing right next to me.
I love that there are people that inhabit the galaxy that are just like ridiculously rich and can kind of use the Enterprise for whatever they want. And there really isn't anything they can do. It's like, yeah, we're above money, but
they're still good old boys.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my daughter is also the ambassador to the Federation, and she just wants to show up and use the ship for a wedding so she doesn't have to pay the deposit. So the guy I keep on tripping out about, his name's Martin Rayner. That's the Dr. Chaotica character. But if you bring up his picture and look at this other guy, Mr. J, there's quite a likeness going on between the two. So when the actress of Luxana Troy gets a royalty check for this episode, does she get it for playing both the computer voice and her character as Luxana? Like, does she get double pay?
I think she might. But she's passed away now, sadly.
Oh yeah, that's right. When did Miss Barrett pass away?
2012, I want to say.
Oh wow, that
Yeah, it was a
recent.
bit ago.
A decade ago.
No,
Decade.
2008. She was
Gosh, where goes in that?
She was 76.
Aw.
I want to laugh at a lethal weapon like that.
Yeah.
A whole hour of that. Ha! Ha! We're gonna do that at work.
It's called my pay attention if you laugh. Eat your raw vegan dinner. And why they chose that food for what the Klingons are eating seems very strange to me.
I see a Brussels sprout, a couple of green tomatoes that have obviously not been cooked or shaped.
You said no Klingon ever breaks his word.
I did not mean now. Now, just sit down.
I still can't get over that Worf wanted to commit ritual suicide than being a father.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked him out of it. Now he has to have this conversation.
And poor Alexander's never going to forget that. Which is why back in that episode, you were saying, like, what would Waxana do? And I'm like, she would have been like, she would have brought him in and been like, okay, kill your dad. It's what he wants.
Would have made things a lot easier for everybody.
Yep.
I mean, Worf's brother would still be on the High Council. Alexander wouldn't grow up to be a time-traveling assassin. It would work out. Bashir would have been able to get Jadzia. Yeah. Wow. I never thought I'd say this, but maybe Worf should have died. Would have made it so much easier for everybody.
Would Bashir have gotten Jadzia, or would he have gotten Ezri like he did?
I think he would have gotten Jadzia only because Ezri said to Bashir, had Worf not come along, it would have been you. Now, the only question to that is how much time would have passed until Jadzia came around, or would she have just kind of been endlessly rebuffing him and also passively flirting with him until Dukat came and murdered her? So,
you know that
kind
he
of
was
hard to
also
tell.
considered to be Cisco, right?
What?
Because
No,
his biggest role before that, he had a great big beard, and when they shaved him, they were like, "Oh, he's a kid." Movie called The Dangerous Man, playing Prince Faisal, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that guy could be the commander of a starship." And then it was like, "Oh no, he is not old enough to be the commander of a starship."
There we go. Look, she finally calls it. Mother, you're undermining me.
Yep.
How many episodes did it take her? 6? I think this is our 6th Troy episode. Loxana, not the other one.
6th or 5th, yeah.
So what we're going to learn is that Loxana does not want to give up her ability to be a free spirit. If she marries this guy, she's going to have to tone it way down and splash a lot of cold water on everything.
Yep.
And it almost looks like her fiance wants to.
Oh, that's the look I'm getting from him too, is it's like he wants to party with her, but this friggin' protocol minister just will not allow it.
Isn't the ceremony have some rather specific requirements from Luxana as well?
He wears clothes, really.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought she had to be
yeah.
naked was the thing. Like they all had to be.
That's I think the last straw. She shows up naked and it kills the wedding.
Okay. Getting out of myself.
Lloyd wedding, everybody is naked. Troy and Riker had 2 weddings. They had the Starfleet wedding and the naked wedding on Beta Z.
So while we were talking about getting naked in a wedding, some more space glitter traveled to the ceiling when they removed a bulkhead, and then maple syrup came flowing down. And the only thing I could think of is Geordi and Data talking to each other, saying, this whole black market Vermont maple syrup business is getting way out of hand. They need to find better places to store this stuff.
Yeah, Mariner on the ship hiding contraband.
Easy on the Vermont. Remember, I live in Canada. Quebec does by far more maple syrup than Vermont.
There's a great April Fool's story that NPR did about Canadian and Vermont maple trees exploding if you don't tap them.
Well, I had to pull over, true story, driving, listening to NPR about the great maple syrup train heist that actually occurred because I was laughing too hard.
I'm surprised that's even a thing, but apparently it is.
Well, look at the price of gas and look at the price of maple syrup. Which one is worth more?
True. And hustling maple syrup just sounds like a really cute crime.
It's a sticky one.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that like the teddy bears would do when their first entrance into organized crime. Do we kill people? Do we shake them down for protection money? No, maple syrup, gentlemen. This is what we do. Oh, the juggling guy lost his balls.
He ate them.
Ah.
Yeah.
But we did see some of the maple syrup goo interrupt the holodeck program. It was kind of oozing down the wall. And this is where the dark room where Data and Geordi developed the film from all the hidden cameras all throughout the ship. Picard is investigating the pictures of himself in the ready room with the peephole behind the fish tank, saying, I think we need to change the angle on these photos, guys. It's not really capturing the image of me reading that book on it.
Again, normally on a normal ship, this would be Riker doing this, not Picard.
Yeah, what is Riker doing in this episode?
Just gloating about what's her face, about Waxana being on the ship, rubbing it in the captain's face.
Well, the captain's probably doing this to avoid being on the bridge.
Yep.
So he wants to stay out of Luxana's way. Metal parasites, there we go. And they don't like the cold. Wait a minute. Metal parasites who live in space who don't like the cold. That doesn't make sense.
That are breaking down life support, which would make it pretty cold.
Okay. Well, here we go. Why would you even step on a turbo lift if you know your ship is falling apart? I still think back to that other parasitic episode where Geordi gets into a turbo lift and it throws him around.
Oh, yes.
And the doors on the bridge open and LaForge just goes flying out. And he says, "No, don't touch that button." And of course they don't touch that button because he made it there just in time. What episode was that? That was the episode with the computer virus from the Mystery Planet, where, if you remember, there's this warbird and the Enterprise kind of head to head, and they were both having computer virus problems.
Now, unlike Deep Space Nine, they don't have like a turbo lift prop on their bridge. They just have a door that goes into the turbo lift area. Turbo lift doesn't move up and down. DS9, the turbo lifts that went to ops, actually were moving turbo.
Oh, I love that thing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. He's sweating. And we've got some fog.
Everybody's going to be sweating.
Mm.
They have really weird sweat stains. Once it's done, they have really weird sweat stains. Like, people don't really sweat like that. It looks like they threw up on themselves. You'll see it when you see it.
Yeah. There we go. Look, finally evacuating personnel. There. Oh, there's your throw up sweat stain.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
If you were super drunk and just like threw up on your front, not that that's ever happened to any of us.
It's basically Rick from Rick and Morty.
Exactly.
Well, passed out, fell down. See, all Riker has to do. Oh, guys, it's not centigrade. It's Fahrenheit. Just think of it as Fahrenheit, and you'll feel much cooler.
It's like, yeah, this is when you call to abandon ship. It is not fair to leave like families and stuff on here. Well, this kind of
2 hours. Okay, that's more than enough time to put everybody in a pod and a Capri Sun and a little baggie of sliced oranges and tell them hang out in these pods.
like, yeah,
We're gonna go fix a ship, and then we'll come.
The kids can't figure out how to get the straws in the Capri Sun.
That's the emergency.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine Alexander and Worf in an escape pod during this episode? I can't open the Capri Sun. Hey, we've seen her quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, she's been in a lot of episodes. I forgot her name. We always see her, though. This show just has a ridiculous list of uncredited co-stars.
Okay, so we know that this works because we're going to see the glitter go through the tractor beam to the asteroid.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious if had come off and it just like skeletized the asteroid. Piranhas on a cow. He's like, wow, that could have happened to us in a couple seconds. Out it comes. Must be nice and warm in that beam. And presumably on the asteroid too. Like a hot.
Yet another scene where everybody's knocked unconscious and it's up to Data to save the day. Larry Hawken, that's the name of the wind dancer. All right.
Hawken or Hankin?
Well, let's see. Hankin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was bothering me. I'm like, this guy did such a great bass performance. Oh, we fixed the ship.
Look at the lobes on that guy. He could definitely compete with the Ferengi.
It's not Hogwarts, but it'll do.
Yeah.
Get the troll from the dungeon.
I love the whole how do they decide who comes to that, who has to wear dress uniforms, because Picard and Riker are in dress uniforms, but Geordi and the Doctor aren't. You'd think all the command staff would be in dress uniforms. I like what Troy's got on, though.
Yes.
Very let's go all.
Mr. Holmes is like, yep, I know that look.
Yep. Definitely Majel Barrett's back, too.
That dude in the back is just way too into it. He's got that lurker look.
And the kid's a little bit like, hey, naked grandma.
Well, this is what you're gonna get.
I'm the only one who's supposed to see this. I always say it's infamous.
Oh, he didn't even call off the wedding. His buddy took it out.
Yep. Little toady. And we get a hilarious end scene where they're all in the mud bath. She's got her hair all did, and Troy has still got her hair all did.
Aren't we really close to the Worf stuck in the holodeck cowboy episode?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Whenever I see, because I think Worf is in this pool too, and I've always made a connection between the two episodes just from that one shot. Look at that hair.
Yeah,
holy
very
cow.
Wonder Woman-y
Beehive.
comic book. All I do is sit here. I don't like it.
I don't want to see any bubbles, Mr. Worf.
Yeah. With a warrior's bowel movement.
What? Did the episode just end?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. All right, so what we got space glitter, we've got maple syrup, we've got a guy who doesn't really want to get married, who just shows up and is escorted stage left by his protocol dude, and we got a kid misbehaving, and boy, that was kind of a dumpster fire of an episode.
I don't know. I give it 3.5.
Yeah.
For drama.
3.5 for family drama.
Yeah.
That's fair. I can't even process this. I don't know. How about you, Ed?
Well, I like to kind of input the whole toxic masculinity sort of into this episode because of how Worf acts throughout it, and then he finally just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I hate it. So what? At least I'm spending time with family.
There we go.
So, the little lessons that are pretty good. Just get out of your wheelhouse and kind of enjoy something not the norm, or at least for him, not the norm.
Well, I think you just identified what Worf's go-to move is whenever he knows he's wrong. He just grumbles and pushes through, and He's like, yeah, I know I've got to be present. Don't want to, but I'll do it.
Sounds like half the jobs I have to do for work.
I want to go home. I want to go home.
Yep.
No, you have to do this. You chose this, Worf. You could have killed yourself.
Oh man.
Oh, you know what? I would watch this drunk. If I was trash right now, 5 out of 5. But I'm not trashed. It's a Monday. So let's see. I would probably give it about a 3 out of 5. It's a fun episode. It's I bet you the crew, the cast had fun doing this. It's not every day you get to jump in a mud pit and be angry or happy or emotional. It's one of those, hey, you know what? Let's have a glass of bubbly after this kind of episode.
Yeah.
Well, folks, there it is. You have just successfully watched one of the more goofball episodes that we've got in the collection of Star Trek The Next Generation. What is coming up next? I think it's another wedding episode. The Perfect Mate. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes, when Jean Grey met Professor X.
This is a throwback Roddenberry episode where you have a pre-programmed woman in a box who falls in love with the first person she imprints on, but the captain has to marry her off. Oh man, Star Trek just doesn't learn. And the episode was so bad they decided to do it in Enterprise too. Well, we will leave that for our next commentary. We want to thank everybody for coming along and listen. It was a great surprise to see you drop in, Ed.
Thank you very much.
On the show again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good to see you guys as well.
With that, we're going to say have a wonderful day. Music provided by lofigirl.com. Artists include Tenno, Daydreaming, BVG in Mondberg, Insomnia, WYS, Snowman, Be Calm and Banks, Because. Episode cover art created by Matthew Kirschner. Podcast logo and main cover art provided by David Clawwitter. Audio engineering done by Sascha Schaudies.